All right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen out there in YouTube land. I am deleted scenes human being American and YouTuber Ronan. I'd like to welcome you to this week's episode of Unscripted. Apologies for the delay, but everything is ready to go here now. And we're going to say hello to everyone in the chat. I would like to first say hello to everyone following along on Twitter. I can't see you, but I know that you're there. I'd also like to say hello to FKHC 2005, sometimes known as Tim. My partner in crime, the toxic gunslinger himself, Outlaw Bear. Channel member JPRPH1. Host of Films with Friends, which I will be appearing this Friday at 8 p.m. The creator of the 10-word review, They Got Presents. All right. It's been quite a week. It's been good for some folks. Been not so great for some others. We had the Democrat National Convention taking place in Chicago. Watch as you see protesters burn down their own convention. Well, luckily, it was not as bad as all of that. It was good to see that building walls and checking IDs is no longer racist. All right. We also had some losses. Legendary talk show host Phil Donahue passed away this week. There will be more about him today on later on tonight on Geeky Geezers over on H Boomer's channel. Didn't always agree with the man. I'm sure he wouldn't have always agreed with me, but man, I give him career longevity. I tell you that much for sure. The man was a legend in his field, and he's definitely going to be missed. We also had the cancellation of a certain Disney Minus series entitled The Acolyte, canceled due to low viewership. As is customary when you are in a category where viewership is necessary in order to continue, The Acolyte just did not have the numbers. To those of you who were Acolyte fans, which you're perfectly within your right to be, maybe a letter writing campaign will work. Letter writing, listen to me. That's how old I am, letter writing. I signed an online petition a few days ago trying to get Outer Range back on the air. So look, I've done it myself, and I completely understand. But there is a difference between what I'm seeing out of the fans of Outer Range and what I am seeing out of the fans of The Acolyte. And hello to Deep Zach. Now, without a range, we as fans, we didn't get mad. We didn't go blaming other people who didn't watch it. It's a niche show. We understand that. You know, it's Yellowstone is written by David Lynch. We get it. It wasn't going to be for everybody. On the other hand, you didn't see anyone get upset. Nobody threatened to go and burn Amazon to the ground. Nobody threatened to harm the people who didn't see the show or maybe didn't like it. That's not, however, what we saw with The Acolyte. We saw the same kind of vitriol that we saw out of the people who didn't want Donald Trump to leave Butler, Pennsylvania alive. And hello to JPRPH1 and to Aged Boomer. Geeky Geezers coming up right after this program. Oh, there was an ad? Okay. I'll work on that. I am looking into, off topic, I am looking into the ad situation. And I'm trying to make sure that that is not intrusive. Let's see. All right, now I only watched, full disclosure, I only watched one episode of The Acolyte. And that was because a friend of mine that I did a stream with invited me on. And that was the only reason. And I tapped out after episode 1 because I understood where it was going to go. And pretty much after the OT, Star Wars really doesn't interest me all that much anyway, to be honest. So whether or not The Acolyte was a success or a failure, to me, it really didn't matter either way. Now, I can understand being upset when a show gets canceled. There have been shows that I have enjoyed that didn't last. Firefly, Terriers, Likely Suspects, Freaky Links. You know, there were so many shows that didn't go past their first season for whatever reason. Poor viewership. It just wasn't as good. Maybe it was a poor time slot. There's any one of a number of things. that go into canceling a television program. You know, there was a television show, Jericho, that got canceled, and then there was and then fan uproar over that program brought it back for a brief period to try and finish out the story. Yeah, it does happen. Twin Peaks came back after 25 years and did a final season. I do a show about it on this channel called Live from Sparkwood 21. Aged Boomer, who is in the chat right now, co-hosts that program with me. Now, another issue, and Dave points it out in the chat, most of the shows canceled don't cost $180 million, not for one season. No, that is another problem, is the fact that they are spending entirely too much money on these shows, and then you're not seeing that money up on the screen. Someone on Twitter who was polite about it, I'll give them that, asked the question, why cancel The Acolyte? To which I then stated, it was not good storytelling. The acting was wooden. The CGI was not up to snuff, not for the amount of money they spent on it. And it needed practical effects. It needed to look the way the OT looked back in the day. That was another thing. So there are a number of reasons. And hello to DJ Ronnie G. Now, Disney has a formula. And it's a good way to tell that they know they've made a bad show or not. Now, I don't remember there being any issues surrounding Andor. And again, full disclosure, I did not see Andor. But a number of people that I respect saw Andor and said they liked it. And that's, again, great. If you have found something that you enjoy, fine. Now, as I was saying, Disney has a formula for when they know that they have a dud on their hands. And that's to go out and have stars of their shows go out and do what are referred to as hostage videos, where they're in their car or they're in some nondescript room that could be anywhere, and they start chiding the fans for either review bombing or being racists or sending death threats to certain members of the cast. Now, here's the thing. They have never They have never produced any proof that people have been racially insensitive to the cast, that people have threatened the cast. They keep going on and on about, I read an article today talking about YouTubers are still raging over Rose Tico. Are they? Name me one YouTuber. Name me one that threatened to physically harm the actress playing Rose Tico, Miss Tran. Give me one. You can't. Why? Because it didn't happen. They do that. It's called gaslighting. They say that Moses Ingram, Reva from the Obi-Wan series, was threatened. Never, no proof of that has ever been produced. Not once. Now look, obviously Kelly Marie Tran, thank you. I blanked on her name for a moment. I didn't like the movies that she was in. Not her fault. She tried the best she could with a poorly written character, especially in Rise of Skywalker. What they do to her character in Rise of Skywalker is unforgivable. You don't create a character just to shove her aside like that. It's not right. It's not good storytelling. It's not a good way to treat a character. What's the point of even writing her character into the films if you're not going to do anything with her? And hello to Connie Cleary. Now, Bird Woman of YouTube, ladies and gentlemen, channel member, Faithful Blue Wrench. Watch out for her second channel, Fluff Chick Productions. Now, I saw Book of Boba Fett because I was being brought on to a live stream. I was asked to come onto a live stream and do basically a review roundtable. And I was very honest about how I felt about it. We're going to get to that, Bill. And okay, I'll do something about the ads for next time. If anybody's having issues with ads, let me know, because I have an ad blocker, so I'm not seeing any of this. Now, going back to the Book of Boba Fett for a minute. I saw the whole thing from beginning to end. I did due diligence, and there were things that I liked about it and others that I didn't. And I felt during that stream that I was very honest and upfront about how I felt. And I went into that stream thinking, okay, because I'm there with a bunch of diehard Star Wars fans. and I was about to go in there and tell these people that I didn't like that show. It's okay. But it loses steam once it turns from being Boba Fett's story to being The Mandalorian season 2.5. And that's where the show lost me. It came off like Disney did not have the confidence in the character and the filmmakers involved that they felt they had to quote unquote save it by bringing Mando in. And you didn't need to do that. You make 1 2.25-hour movie about Boba Fett climbing his way out of hell, basically, climbing out of the Sarlacc pit. He gets taken in by this tribe of Tusken Raiders. He becomes one of them. They're killed indirectly because of something that he does. He goes back into this criminal underworld to exact his revenge, kind of John Wick style, on the individuals responsible for that attack. Great. That sounds like a cool movie. I'm down for that. And you had Tamara Morrison. This man can play a tough guy. Go back and see Once Were Warriors. That guy can be scary, and he can be a badass. You had the actor capable of doing it, and you undercut him every step of the way. So by the time you got to the characters, the mods, and Vespas and everything that everybody went on and on about, by that point in the story, I had already tuned out. Because halfway through the show, you bring the Mandalorian in. And Boba Fett disappears from his own show for 2 entire episodes. And I'm willing to believe that because we all heard the story. There was an episode, actually an episode of The Mandalorian, where there were 19, it was a 19-page screenplay for a 40-some-odd minute show. Yeah, I think he got burned. I'm not blaming him. I'm blaming the filmmakers and I'm blaming the producers. I'm blaming the studio. Now we have the Acolyte. And there are people who enjoyed it and others who didn't. Both sides very vocal. Now, the reaction from one side, the side that weren't fans of The Acolyte, were you only got 1 season. You deserve to only get 1 season. It wasn't a good show. It was right to be canceled. Now you have the other side of the coin. The people who enjoyed the Disney Plus shows. For whatever their reasons might be. Now, are they full within the right to enjoy the show? Yes. If you found something good in it, fine. It's not my cup of tea. DOT was my thing. Since then, it's fallen off. Now, The people who didn't like the show, they simply laugh at the fact that it's being canceled and move on. They'll move on. There'll be something else to move on to. The Crow reboot is out there, and we're going to get to that here in a second. Now, the side that didn't like The Acolyte, they are not threatening the people who liked it. The other side is not doing us the same courtesy. And I am seeing tweets coming out of these people that mirrored the same kind of posts we were seeing after the attempt on the life of Donald Trump in Butler, Pennsylvania. And I see it coming from a lot of the same people too. That's another thing that I'm noticing as I'm looking at Twitter and I'm seeing these same names coming up in both issues. Now, and again, this is simply my opinion. If you're going to make a television show and you expect everyone to view this program, you got to make it for everybody. You've got to put your personal political crap aside, and you have to make a show for everyone. There's a famous quote by Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan said, Republicans buy sneakers too. He didn't care who bought a pair of Air Jordans as long as somebody did. Why? Because the man was a capitalist. Because he was going to make money from that. There was a time when Hollywood did the same thing. And that time is gone now. We didn't know unless somebody came out and stated it flat out. You didn't know where a celebrity leaned politically. You didn't know. But now with the advent of social media, these people can't shut up. And the shine is off now. You see through all the glitz and all the glamour, and what you see are people who just want you to be as miserable as they are. When I tell you, my loyal viewers, subscribers, channel members, that you deserve better, that's what I mean. Do not allow yourself to be brought down to the level of these people who throw their own racism, who throw their own mental issues and try to project that onto you. Now, I knew how bad The Acolyte was going to be without even watching it, because of this so-called diss track that Amanda Stenberg wrote, recorded, and had a video ready for it in 3 days' time, which I call BS on. This was planned. Understand that, folks. That was planned. And it was planned from the beginning. And it was planned because Disney knew they made a piece of crap. So they had to get in front of it. So when the inevitable bad reviews came out, so bad that even some of the shills were like, rah. Let me explain to you who Amanda Stenberg is. Amanda Stenberg's father is from Denmark. He is a millionaire. This is a girl who claims that she is from this oppressed lower class. Trust me, she is not. This girl was born rich. She has been handed everything in her life. Everything that she has ever been given, it's been handed to her. She has earned nothing. Whatever money she made from acting, okay, obviously she made that. But this was a girl who was born rich. I don't recall at any time white Americans oppressing Denmark in any fashion. If that happened, somebody please remind me, because I sure as hell have never heard of it. Don't walk around in a wardrobe that cost more than my house telling me that you're being oppressed. That you don't get to do. One of the lyrics in this so-called music video, I've had to deal with 400 years of your bullshit. 400 years. Okay. Number one, little 20-year-old girl, you maintain an even tone with me. You're dealing with adults. Act like it. One of the problems that you 20-year-old little bastards has is you did not get smacked around enough as a kid. Your parents did not discipline you properly. In America, if you backtalked an elder, you got a smack. Now, I don't know what they gave you in Denmark. Apparently doing that, you get a bunch of money in your pocket. I don't know. Number two, 400 years of what bullshit? You're 20 years old. What are you talking about? What do you know about anything? You were protected from minute one. What are you on about? People didn't like your TV show. Live with it. You don't talk down. And that's the problem with Hollywood, okay? Because I know that's where the younger ones get it from. They don't know how to act, so they see how the older people around them act. And that's where you get into people like Mark Hamill. And folks, the less you know about Mark Hamill, the better. Because this guy is either insane or he's a scumbag. I don't know. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm not paying $700 for anybody's autograph. Hello, Nate. I am not spending $700 for anybody's autograph, let alone his. Because aside from voice work on various shows, what have you done on film? You were Luke Skywalker and you were Griffin Big Red 1. What else have you been in? That's another problem with some of these actors is they think they are bigger deals than they actually are. And no, not even his. Who do you think you are that you can just reach into someone else's pocket, take their wallet, and lift out their hard-earned money? There's not much money left to go around. And yeah, he was in Corvette Summer, and I could give two craps about Corvette Summer. You know. So if you're going to talk down to me and half of your potential audience, why should I watch anything you do? I'm not going to watch it. I'm not going to endorse it. What is the point? Why talk down to your audience? When did that become a thing? All you're doing is going online and you're going to these conventions and you're telling me you're a commie scumbag. That's all you're doing. And if YouTube wants to demonetize this stream for saying that, then okay, fine. I'll live with that. They're going to anyway. I get it. I understand. I know how the game is played. Rachel Ziegler thinks she's a goddess among us. She's not. Do not put these people up on pedestals. They don't deserve to be there. Rachel Ziegler is not your friend. Amanda Stenberg is not your friend. Mark Hamill is not your friend. You think Harrison Ford cares if you love Star Wars? No, he's just interested in money. You know how I know that? Because he says that Indiana Jones is his favorite character, is his signature character. And then he allowed them to do what Disney did to that character. It became a thing since The Last Jedi. I think that's when we all began to notice it, Nate. But I think it's a deeper problem. And I think it goes back a lot farther than that. I used to think, okay, maybe it was really 2008 or 9. But maybe it was back even farther than that. Now you have these studios and these actors who are now doubling and tripling down on this rhetoric. And I say close your wallets. Hashtag wallets closed. Hashtag walk away. Just don't even bother with this stuff. There's no point to it. Looks like you were a dime a dozen. Roger Crawford, Highway Patrol. Get in the car, punk. Anyway, I kid. You know, it's a real shame. And it shows a lack not only of understanding of the audience, it shows a lack of basic understanding of the IP that you're trying to build upon. And we have seen that with Star Wars, with Star Trek, with Doctor Who. We're seeing it with Lord of the Rings. We saw what they did to Indiana Jones, what they did to Willow. And we're kind of seeing it now with The Crow. Now, The Crow is a movie that did not need to be remade or rebooted or anything. The movie that we got in '94, even though it took its liberties as well, was the best movie we could have gotten from that source material at the time. And there was a time when I would have said that if you're going to remake it, do just a straight up adaptation of the graphic novel. It's all there. You have the dialogue. You have the look. Just shoot. Just do what Rodriguez did with Sin City. You have the film in front of you. Shoot it. And they could have done that with The Crow. Now, that's if you choose to do a remake in the first place, which I think they should not have done, because I think that's disrespectful to Brandon Lee. Who is this movie for? To even begin with, what's the point of remaking it? We are not just going to blindly go to these movies anymore just because the Crow logo is stamped on it. Just because And I don't know what YouTube is not allowing you to say in the chat, Tim. You should be perfectly fine saying whatever you want to say. I want everybody who is on my channel to understand that you will not be blocked from saying anything in my chat unless it is something racially motivated. Other than that, you can say whatever the hell you want. I don't care. Now, yes, Brandon Lee would have made a great action star. I would have loved to have seen him in John Wick. I mean, I'm not stepping on Keanu. Keanu is fucking brilliant, but I would have loved to have seen Brandon Lee as John Wick. You know, I would have liked to have seen where his career would have gone. And I'm not saying that he could have necessarily just stuck to action movies either. I would have liked to have seen him branch out into other things. I think he had that potential. Now, they did a TV series with Mark Dacascos, who was in John Wick 3, among many other things, Brotherhood of the Wolf, a lot of other things. He did The Crow Stairway to Heaven, where he played the Eric Draven character. And whether or not you think that show should have been made, at least it didn't disrespect, in my opinion anyway, it did not disrespect Brandon Lee, and it did not disrespect the people who were involved with the film. It kind of built on the film. I don't know what they were trying to do with this. I don't know why this movie was made, but it's out there now. I have seen nobody involved with the production do any kind of promotion for it. I have seen interviews where Bill Skarsgård has been asked about it, and he's refused to discuss the film. I think that says a lot. Now, the director of this incarnation of The Crow, Rupert Sanders, has come out and lambasted people over the reviews that the film has gotten. And he essentially pulled the whole James Cameron thing, you know, this whole thing that they like to say to us now of go out and touch grass. Okay, well, we did go out and we went to your film and nobody liked it. Why? Because you made a movie that did not follow the source material. That was kind of an in-name only film. Let the chips fall where they may. You don't want to get review bombed? Make a good movie. Make an original movie. Make a real movie. Don't make a cash grab movie. And there are too many cash grab films out right now. Don't make a movie that plays to a certain segment of the audience. Make a movie that will appeal to everyone. It's not difficult. And rights retainer films are another problem. So I say to Amanda Stenberg, to Mark Hamill, to Rupert Sanders, we are not the problem. You are the problem. Make better films. Keep your politics to yourself. Because you're losing the respect of a lot of people, and you're not going to get it back. Especially if you keep going down this road. People want to be taken away from their normal lives. They don't want to be reminded of what they see every day. They want to be transported to different worlds. Movies used to do that. And then you stopped. That's not on us. That is on you. You screwed you. Do not project stuff. It's like when people go to sporting events and kept the politics out of sports. Yeah, because it's even in sports now. Look what they did to the Olympics. And I know we're running late, so I do want to go over these super chats real quick. I'm sorry, not super chats, chats in the regular chat. If Disney wanted to write the show, the Acolyte for tax reasons, they should be able to. If they had not released it, that would have been okay, but not after it's out. No. If a show is not released, it should be written off, not after it's out. Yeah, I get the point. I still suspect all those people that are most vocal about the cancellation probably don't watch the show. They might not have. To a point, they did, Hollywood, yeah. At least you don't preemptively insult half the audience. You can blame them for its failure afterwards, yeah. If I was a famous person, I would have kept my view to myself. If people ask, I would say it's none of your damn business what my views are. That's what people used to do. I know we bought the Danish West Indies from them, now United States Virgin owns. So that's bad. That's nothing. No, it's not bad at all. That's why I believe now the show is so terrible. We're not drop all 8 episodes and have had so many ads. I'm still seeing ads for the Acolyte. Yeah. Even her mother is a successful writer. She's born and raised in Los Angeles, California. Very rich zip code. Yeah. I think hashtag close your wallet is working. But learned it. Star Wars just learned it. And video game companies are learning it in a big way. Yeah. I'm not really a gamer, but I see what's going on there. And man, it's just and yes, folks, I will work on the ads I'll see what I can do about that not happening as much during the next show. So even better, make entertaining films and shows, keep your politics out of it. Hollywood boomed during the Great Depression because of its escapism. It's what people want. Yeah. And that's all we ask. Hollywood keeps telling us to do better. That is projection. They are the ones who need to do better. And hopefully, they are finally starting to see this. But it's an election year. And we're going to see who's who. I'm going to end it here because Geeky Geezers has started and I want to get everybody over there. I want to thank everyone who followed along on Twitter. I can't see you, but I know that you're there. I want to thank everyone who joined us in the chat. Tim, Nate, D. Penzak, Connie, West Cagle, Outlaw Bill, JPRPH1, DJ Ronnie G, Aged Boomer, Matt Cheatwood, and Big Al Presents. From HQ and all points north, south, east, west, and beyond. Good night. Take care. Stay strong. Be safe. Because this is how we win. I'll see you over on Geeky Geezers.